Hello there, Master Hellish here, and welcome to this review of the Red 5 Q4 Quadcopter. I was at the Gadget Show live, and there was a guy flying one of these around the arena hall, and it looked so awesome. So I bought one. So let's take a look. I want to show you about it, and well, okay. First of all, it's very small. Look at it in its tiny little box. It is fantastically small in that it adds that extra cute factor to your tech, which is always very good. Let's see. I'm trying to do this without getting stuff everywhere. Inside, we've got the actual quadcopter itself, but we'll get back to that in a moment. A controller, which looks a bit toy-y kind of to me. Doesn't look so kind of cool and gadgety, but does the job. Two AAA batteries not included, and a couple of other bits. Some spare rotor blades, which is always fantastic when you get spares, and a charger. It's USB to a little special one. Let's have a closer look at the quadcopter. So here it is on the packet, just held in with these little elastic pieces here. Let's just unbind that, flick it out, there we go. Oh, and of course there underneath that box there's the instructions as well, which I highly recommend you read. RTFM, mate, it is worth it. Not very long, definitely worth it. But here it is, the cute little thing that it is. So, you know, little thing, on-off switch, blade stuff. Well, I think before we get into a proper review bit of this, we should give it a go, and that means I think we're going to have to put it on charge. Okay, so I've got the charge cable here. I'm just going to put it in this USB socket in the front of this computer. Let's see, make sure it's the right way around. There we go. Now you can go into any USB socket, and charge times vary depending on what kind of power you're using. This is from a computer, so it's a low current. But if you're using a wall socket, I've read that if you go into a mains with one of the adapters, it charges quicker. But I'm not in a rush, so I'm just going to put the quadcopter up here. I'm going to plug the other end in like that, and there you go. The little red lights come on, and it's charging. And let's just wait for that to finish. Right then, the little red light's gone out, so it's ready to go. So let's give it a try. Yeah. There we go. Right then, I've come into the living room for a couple of reasons. First of all, there's more space in here. Always fly in somewhere where you've got lots of space. Second of all, there's lots of soft stuff around. When you start off, you're going to want to keep it low. You want to do it gently, bit by bit. Just practice up and down for the first minute or so. Then make it go left, right, forward. Just try and keep it in one place. It is very difficult to fly at first, but a lot of these sorts of things are. There's beginner, intermediate and advanced modes on here, and we'll show you that in a second. But let's get it started. First things first, throttle to the minimum. Very important that. Power the controller on, power the quadcopter on with a tiny little bit at the back, and I'm just going to do that again so you can see, is that it flashes at first and then goes solid, or it should do anyway. Let's reset because I did it in the wrong order. So controller on and then quadcopter on. There, and the beep means it's connected. So let's do a little bit of flying. I'm going to stand over here, out the way. Okay. It is not really stupidly easy. My fiance doesn't like it because she says it sounds like a giant bee, which is true, it does sound like a giant bee. Once you get the hang of it, it is surprisingly easy to control. a lot easier than what it seems at first. I'm going to see how close I can get it to you. Bearing in mind I'm looking into a light. Right, here we go. So the blue and red LEDs, there we go, make it easy to see. Oh, hang on. Which way it's facing. Which is good, as well as the different propellers that are on there. Ideally, you want to be doing it in somewhere where you've got space. When you're starting off, somewhere with lots of ground space where you can do it low to the ground, and somewhere preferably where there's no wind. If you have no wind on outside on a nice still day, and you're above grass, that is a good place, I think, to start. As long as you cut the power as soon as the quadcopter gets near the grass. For example, it's flying around and then it gets close to the grass, you cut the power and it just pops and lands on the surface. We don't want them spinning, the blades spinning around in the grass. So, I'm going to switch it to advanced mode now. And you do that just by pressing down the right stick. Now, I've been flying this, not constantly, but I've had about just over an hour's flight time practice, maybe a little bit more, maybe about an hour and a half. It's not too bad to do. Now, I'm going to see if I can do a trick. There's not a lot of room in here. Let's see if we can get it to do a flip. So, get it quite high in a nice good place in the room. Yeah, I did it. I did have to do some corrective flying then, because in a small space like this there's not a lot of room to do those sorts of tricks. Now, they fly for just a little over 5 minutes, which I think is actually quite good, considering how tiny it really is and how much power it takes to lift that thing up into the air. It's quite astonishing, really. So let's just fly around for a bit. And it will always self-right. And as you can see now, it's flashing. And that means the battery is getting close to running out. Gives you time to bring it back to you, or just to lower it down, safe from a height. And then we can charge and play. So, we've done a quick unboxing, we've had a crack, we've given it a go, and now it's time for a little bit of a reviewy bit. I'm just going to grab the box here to remind me of a couple of things it says. And to me, one of the things a good product should have, it should do what it says on the tin. So let's see what it says. The world's smallest 4-channel quadcopter. Yes, it's a quadcopter. Yes, it is small. It is tiny. You can literally balance it on your nose. I wouldn't recommend doing that until you're a pro. Self-stabilizing? Well, yes, you've seen that. You can throw it up in the air and it will, and then power it up and it will self-right. And highly movable. Oh, yes, it is. I haven't had a lot of space to play around with it inside, but what I have managed to do is fly it from inside the study, across the landing, into the bedroom, land it on the bedside table, bring it back out, fly it down the stairs and up again. And I've only had about an hour and a half's worth of flight time so far, so that's pretty good. Beginner, intermediate and advanced flying modes. To be honest, I don't personally see a lot of difference between the flying modes, and there is a bit of an advantage for going straight to advanced. Now, do not go straight to advanced and expect to be able to fly it perfectly. Start out low on the ground, don't go very far, or start out in a large open area with no wind and grass, and do take it easy to begin with, maybe starting that beginner. But personally for me, I found it quite easy to jump up to the advanced flying mode, and the reason is that in the advanced flying mode it does sharper, harsher movements. So if I needed to correct something, it would react quicker, it would correct faster. So that's how I found it. So that's good. It's good though that it's got the different modes. Tough and durable build quality. There isn't a lot to it. It is basically a PCB, a printed circuit board, with a battery and 4 motors, and then of course the props. That is pretty much the whole thing. It is quite robust and it is quite good. I do know quite a few people who have got them, and some of them have had to get a replacement. However, they can take normal landings and even semi-crash landings, like behind the sofa, with a good bit of durability. The blades could easily pop off, but they're easily replaced, and you can get it actually comes with a spare set of blades in the box, as they're the parts that can get the most easily damaged. And for those that have had to send it back, a quick mention of the support staff. They've been fantastic. Quick, sharp responses, not sharp responses, but quick to the point responses. Yeah, okay, send it here, do this, and fair enough, send it there, and then all of a sudden, sorry, not in stock at the moment, we'll let you know as soon as possible. I got a tweet saying, oh, we're back in stock now, and then all of a sudden the quadcopter arrived. So support, fantastic, polite, brilliant if you need them, and not that you probably should day to day. I think I just got a bit unlucky by the sounds of it. Transmitter for long range. I haven't tested the range out on this. Every day I've had the opportunity, it's been too windy to take it out too far. So I'm not sure on that, but it certainly flies perfectly well around the house. I've never had any problems with that. Flying multiple quads simultaneously in the same airspace, yes, and that is fun. A few of the guys at the office got some of these, and we've been flying them around the office in lunch times and stuff, and yeah, you can have multiple ones going all at the same time. You can have multiple quadcopters with multiple controllers, but you cannot fly multiple quadcopters with one controller. That's not a feature that's available, but to be honest, for the most part, why would you? And it says 5 minutes flight time. I would say, yeah, that at least. Usually when they say on a box up to 5 minutes, you get it. Maybe it is the first time. After a while, not very long, something, it usually underperforms. This has been really good. I haven't noticed a drop in performance yet. They do fly for a good 5 minutes at least. So that is fantastic, and they don't take too long to charge as well. That's the main parts on the box. There's a few safety bits and bobs. Yeah, when I saw it at the gadget show, I thought to myself, oh, that's cool, I have to get it. I don't regret my decision personally. Fantastic little toy, fantastic little product. Little bit difficult to get the hang of at the beginning, but after a while you do get the hang of it. If you've had any experience with this sort of thing before, then you should be fine. Yeah, anybody who's into geeky, techie things, who, you don't have to have a big house or large open spaces. I mean, it is better to have, plenty of room, but I can't think of any techie geek who's into their gadgets and stuff who wouldn't like one of these. So that's fantastic. So there we have it. The only thing left to do is to round up and give it off some scores. Let's have a look at those particular scores that I have decided to award this device. First of all, aesthetics. Does it look good? Well, yes, I think it does look good. The LEDs certainly help it to make it look cool, and also the fact that it's quite small and cute, that makes it look quite cool as well. I would give it a higher mark, but the controller itself doesn't look as cool as the quadcopter itself, so it takes a little bit of a dip in points there, but I'm going to give that a 7 anyway. Now, overall design, good design. Is it well designed? Yes, I do think it's well designed. It
it seems to be quite robust. It's all in very compact. Oh, it has to be because it's a micro one, but overall it's ergonomically well. The controller does fit quite well in your hand despite it being quite small. That is quite well designed, and the buttons are all in good places and things like that, and the Quadcopter's overall design is I think quite good as well. We'll give it an 8 for that. Next one, features. Does it have all the features you would expect it? Now personally, from a quadcopter, before I'd ever flown one, I expected to be able to go up, down, left, right, forwards, backwards, and to turn, which is exactly what this one does. But what I didn't expect is you to be able to do flips on such a small, cheap, well, relatively cheap quadcopter. So it does have that extra features that I was expecting from this particular product. And as such, I'm going to give that a 10 for features. Okay, so performance. How well does it perform? Well, it is a little bit tricky to get hold of at first in terms of flying. However, with a bit of practice, you do quite well. It is quite easy to fly after a bit of practice. The initial learning curve, if you've flown quadcopters before, is quite easy. So it's a difficult thing to do, but then again, quadcopters generally are. So it's a bit of a balance. It would score a little bit higher, but quadcopters are quite difficult to fly overall. So I'm going to give that one a 7. Ease of use. Oh, we just done ease of use. Must-have factor is next. Well, to be honest, it's the must-have factor that made me buy this particular quadcopter in the first place. Seeing it at the Gadget Show live, flying around my head, doing its tricks and so forth, I decided that I just had to have it. And because this was an impulse buy and I saw it and I had to have it, I'm going to give it a 10 for this must-have factor. Next, innovation. Does this product really bring up the mark, step up the mark in some way in its field? Now, it claims to be the world's smallest quadcopter, so I'm not really sure about that. If they claim that it is, and I haven't seen anything to say the otherwise, then we're going to assume for argument's sake that it probably is the world's smallest. It certainly is very, very small, and that makes it easy to fly indoors in terms of space. It makes it cute and easy and fast and maneuverable, and actually quite well to fly in wind. Because of its small profile, it's not as effective as some of the larger quadcopters. So for innovation, we're going to give it a 9. It's not really pushing the boundaries for a 10 though. Best in field. This is points awarded for compared to other ones like it points. I've flown a few quadcopters, not a massive array, but a few quadcopters, and it is very good. It's very responsive. Some of the quadcopters I've flown are very kind of swoopy, floppy. This one is definitely very jerky, very well in advanced mode, and it does have that power, the switch, the flip, the move. It's very quick and responsive. So I'm going to give it a nice solid 8 for that particular score. Value for money is my next one. Value for money. This product cost me on offer £25. Okay, now the normal price for that is £30, so we'll take it from there. £30 for a quadcopter is a good price overall. For a good quadcopter, try saying that lots of times quickly. Then yeah, I think it is. I think it is very good value for money. Would I spend 30 if I knew about this product and I didn't have the product? Would I spend £30 to buy the product? Yes, I think it is a good price. Value for money, I'm going to give it a 9. If it was ever so slightly cheaper, it might get a 10, but still very good price. And then we come to the last section, bonus. This is all the points up until now have been my thoughts and exactly what I think it should be in terms of the points and so forth. But this bonus is purely my personal like of the item, how much I like the item personally. I love this item personally. I fly it as much as I can in terms of if I've got time, if the weather's good, and being in the UK, that's not very often. So I think it's fantastic, my personal opinion, so I'm going to give it my personal 10 points out of 10 for that. Well, if you look at the scoring system, that is 100 points possibly awarded, where on my scale 50 is a kind of meh product and 70 is a score for a good product. Obviously 100 would be perfect. That gives this one a total of 85 points. So it's somewhere between good and perfect, which I think is very reasonable. It is... I can't really think of many massive improvements, and a nicer controller would be good, but a mini controller for a mini quadcopter kind of works. So, 85. Good score, very good score from me. Very good product. Well, I think that's all for now. Thank you very much for watching, and until I see you next time, goodbye.